Hello everyone, I'm going to show you guys how to set up a rig leg for a bird in Maya. I'm using Maya 2016, so if you're using a earlier version you might have a different setup, but for the most part it's the same. I just want to show you guys in case you're confused, because you might be rigging like a human character that a bird kind of might throw you off a little bit, but I'm going to show you how easy it can be. Okay, so I'm also going to show you guys what set key drivens are and how you can use them to manipulate the toes and stuff like that, but we'll get that later. So what we want to do is we want to notice that a bird leg bends backwards, unlike a human where it bends forward. We're going to, put in consideration that it's going to need to bend backwards. And so when you lift up, you want to make sure that this part is going backwards instead of forwards. And that's really simple. I mean, you can either set up your joints so that the leg sets, backwards, or you can just right click on this joint and hit set preferred angle right here. But since my joint's already set up to go backwards, that's how it's going to follow. And so also what you want to make sure is that when you're in your IK settings that your rotate plane solver is on. And what that does is it shows up this marker that is pointing backwards, so that when you manipulate the joint to go up, this part goes backwards. I also recommend that if you're doing a bird that you set up something similar to here where you have a joint just going straight down and then it goes to these other toes so you can manipulate them. And then what this does is it allows you to move your character's leg forward and that stays flat. That's what you really want, is you want it to stay flat. Also when you go up. And also what it does is you can set up an orient constraint to manipulate the foot by itself without, messing up the ankle. So I'm going to get into the set driven keys really quick, kind of show you guys what that's all about. I prefer those rather than setting up individual controllers for the toes, just because it's an easier way to manipulate the toes and it gets less clustered in here. So I'll show you guys what that is. So when you set up your set driven keys, you want to make sure you're in the animation. Then you're going to go to key. You're then going to go to set driven and then set. And so you get this menu right here. So now that you have this control clicked, go over to your channel bots, go to edit, go to add attribute, and we're going to say R for right, toe, and we're going to say curl. And we're going to give it a min value of -50 and a max value of, let's say, 10. And click OK. Now you see here that you have this control here. What you want to do now is select your controller for the foot, and we're going to go to load driver. And that opens it up right here. And then you're going to see all the channel bot stuff right here. You're going to go to R toe curl and select it. And then what you want to do is, since we're going to be manipulating the right toe, we're going to select the joints and we're going to go to load driven. And I don't have the joints named. Usually you would want to name your joints, but this is a quick tutorial for people, so don't worry about it. These are your toe joints. So select these, and if you want to test to see how your toe would curl, you can just go like this and see that it's rotating on the Z. And so what you want to do is select your joints, then select rotate Z. And since the R toe curl is on 0, we're going to hit key. And now so that's what's saying is that when the R toe curl is on 0, this will be flat. And so now what you want to do is you want to make this, negative. You can go -50 and then select your joints. We're going to rotate until you get, kind of something like, looks like you could grab a stick or something. We'll just say -75. And then we're going to hit key. So now what you'll see is you can manipulate the toe without actually having to set up controllers for individual toes. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go here. First we're going to select the controller. Let's move this up to 10. We're going to select the joints. Let's rotate this up a little bit. We'll say about 10. We're going to hit T. So now what we did is you can select this controller, have an attribute set up here just to manipulate the toe itself without actually manipulating the other joints. Kind of cool. I like it a lot more because usually if you set up individual controllers for the toes, it kind of gets messy, and you know, I don't like that when I'm animating. So that's what I use, is set driven key for the toes. And you want to make sure that you set up your fingers and your toes so that it can like grab something. So yeah, I hope this was useful. If you guys want me to make more tutorials or anything, if you have any questions, send a message, and yeah, I'll make another tutorial. Thank you. Bye.